Welcome back to Tapped In. My name is Akil Bilal. I'm here with Professor Ismail Bass, and we're here today in Dubai filming this podcast, bringing you guys information about jiu-jitsu, the lifestyle, the philosophy, techniques. We're just discussing everything Brazilian jiu-jitsu and other things that interest us and those who follow similar lifestyles. Today's episode, we want to go a little bit deeper into the training of the jiu-jitsu athlete. We were talking off camera about how do you train. I don't know. You had something you wanted to talk about, Professor Ismail, about this.
So, welcome back, guys. I had some questions that were asked to me by some of my students. They wanted to know, because some of them suffered knee injuries before and different injuries in the elbows and shoulders and joints. And so how do we, doing a combat art, how do we bulletproof our joints, our ligaments, so that we can, in older age and even younger age, this guy is in his 20s, how can we bulletproof those things for grappling, for jiu-jitsu?
Woo. Okay. Bismillah. So it really, so I have to start by saying I follow what we call the functional range system. It's a complete system that we use for athletes. You have to make sure that you have the prerequisites in your joints to do what you want to do. For example, if you got bad knees, you probably shouldn't be playing basketball. Jiu-jitsu is a very strange art, as we talked about before, is our opponents are attacking our joints. So it's not like if I take, we have what we call an injury profile in a sport.
Okay.
So we know that a volleyball player is going to have X amount of injuries in their shoulders, in their back, in their knees, and their ankles, primarily. We know there's an injury profile for football players. The injury profile for jiu-jitsu is everything.
Yes.
From fingers to toes to knees to shoulders to everything, right? So you need to be running a mobility training program in the background. Now, to answer your question about surgeries and things like that, it comes down to the training. It comes down to the training and how we look at it. Let's go back. What is strength? This is what I have changed my mentality and my understanding of it through the system, and it's really brought a clearer understanding of what strength training is. Everything that we do in the gym is a feat of strength. So if we see a guy that's bench pressing 500, we say he's strong. But if I see the Shaolin monks and the things they do, aren't they strong as well? They're not big and muscular, but they're very strong. So strong has a different meaning than it used to for me.
Okay.
What we do is we focus on the determinants of strength. What are the things that determine strength? Working on your nervous system.
Okay.
Working on your joints, working on muscular strength, and working on the connective tissue. When I say connective tissue, I'm talking about the white stuff, the stuff that connects the joints, the ligaments, and the tendons around the joint itself.
Okay.
Remember, the connective tissue is the scaffolding for the muscles. So the muscles actually pull on the connective tissue. So your muscles produce force, connective tissue absorbs force. So you can get strong two ways. You can get strong by producing force through muscular production, force production, but you can also get strong by allowing your connective tissue to be able to absorb more force.
Right.
So when you get an injury, you get dropped on your shoulder, your muscle production has nothing to do with that. It's how much can you absorb.
Got you.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So now we're looking at, okay, what does that mean? That means that we need to focus on joint training. How's a joint made up? Let's go back a little bit. A joint is two bones that come together and move relative to each other, and it's wrapped in a what we call a capsule. And inside that capsule, we have what we call synovial fluid, and that synovial fluid is very important because that is what lubricates the joints.
Okay.
But it also brings nutrients to the joint because your joint doesn't really have blood flow, right? The muscle tissues and things like that do, but when you get down into the connective tissue, it really doesn't have that blood flow. So you need that synovial fluid to lubricate the joint so it stops the friction. You have people now have degenerative arthritis and things like that because they don't rotate their joints.
Okay.
Rotation is the most important thing for a joint because without rotation, that synovial fluid is not secreted enough.
Okay.
That is what activates the secretion of the synovial fluid, which brings the nutrients to the joint tissue, which keeps the joint tissue healthy. These named exercises like squats and deadlifts and bench press and all these named exercises that you do in the gym are all linear exercises. If I ask a person, show me your leg day, leg press, leg extensions, squat, these are all linear exercises. But going back to the anatomy of a joint, you've got two bones wrapped in a capsule. The next layer of tissue is rotational tissue. And then the next layer is linear tissue. That rotational tissue is what we're all neglecting in the gym. And we're only using the linear tissue.
That's right.
And once we wear that out, we go to the physio, and now he's got us doing rotational stuff to try to build it back up again.
Let me ask you something, Akil.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So I want to be more clear.
Yeah.
So the exercise we did as kids, where we would bend over and grab our knees and rotate our knees, would that be having the fluid secrete at that point for our knee joints? We did rotational movement where we bend over and we warm our knees or we warm our elbows up like this
Old
in our
school.
PE classes in the U.S.
Our necks.
So that secretes, basically, for lack of better words, the oil that we need.
Yeah, lubricant.
The lubricant for our joints.
Yeah.
So those things are being neglected.
Yes.
The rotation.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because and so when you're doing too much linear work and not enough rotational work,
Just pressing.
right? Pressing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're leaving a lot on the table. You're leaving a lot on the table for your joint starts to lose function. Now, if I, but I'm gonna go back to that point. But that whole ecosystem inside of the joint itself starts to deteriorate. Now, you go to a jiu-jitsu class, and you don't really have functioning joints, and I get you in a kimura. Of course, I'm gonna rip your shoulder off. You never done any type of training for your joints, so the tissue is weak. It's gonna give, and you're gonna have to have a surgery. That's the
Simple
bottom
as
line.
that.
So if you look at my training, it's completely different. Yeah, I love the bench press and squat. I do that from time to time just because I like to do it, but I like to take my joint to the in range, and then I start training from there. Because I need to be strong when the guy gets me in the kimura or he gets me in the key lock. How many times have you trained your joint at the in range? Because we're strongest at our mid range.
Right.
We're strong in the middle, but at the ends here I'm weak and here I'm weak. But in the middle I'm strong. And this is where all these exercises happen. And sometimes I come off to be like anti-exercise, but I like people to understand that exercise, what is exercise? Exercise is something that man has invented in our minds because we don't live the lifestyle that we used to live when we used to have to hunt our food. We got delivery now.
Yes.
Right? We don't have to go out and hunt none of us know how to farm unless
That's
you
a
grow,
fact.
right? So we don't have that active lifestyle where we got to climb up a tree to get, something, a coconut or bananas out of a tree or whatever we have to do, right?
Yes.
So we decided, let's exercise because it's healthy for us. So as we started to exercise, we started to give exercises different names and all this stuff, and then it all became commercial,
Right.
right? But at the end of the day, if a person tells me they want to, what is a squat? As my teacher, Dr. Spina, always says, a squat is just a named exercise that we said, okay, he's in that position, let's call that a squat. But that's not anything that's inherently in the brain called a squat. That's just something
Right.
that we've called it,
Right.
right? Now, you need if I want to improve your squat, for example, I'm digressing, but I'll bring it all the way back. So if you want to improve your squat, from our lens as a mobility specialist, I say, how do we improve that squat? I got to look at all of the joints that are required to do that squat. You need ankle dorsiflexion, you need knee flexion, you need hip flexion, and you need spinal extension. If I can fix all of those parts, I can fix the whole squat. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So how does that relate to jiu-jitsu? In jiu-jitsu, you need to have joints that can absorb force. You need joints that are strong at the end range
Yes.
to give you time to tap or to give you time to escape.
Okay.
Most of us don't tap in time. That's why we get injured. We think we can handle it until it snaps.
Right. Let me ask you something. I've been seeing a trend of this lately, and I sent you some videos in regards to like the best bodybuilder now, Chris Bumstead.
Yeah.
And people follow him, but they don't even catch those particular things. And there was an Olympic athlete, a lady, who won, I
Sydney
think, the 200 meter
McLaughlin,
in France, the Olympic gold medal.
Yeah.
And it seems that they're doing this system that you're talking about. So it's not just for jiu-jitsu, it's across sports in general, would you say?
It's rotational training, it's internal strength training, it's preparing the body for performance. See, we have a thing in sports science, what we call accommodation. So as you keep adding weight to your bench press, your body is accommodating to that lift. Eventually, you're going to plateau. But what if I continue to, every time you come to the bench and you've been working on all of the body parts that are required to do that bench press, you're bringing a new body to that lift every single time. That's different. If I get you to start bench pressing, first I do an assessment on your shoulders. I get you to do a bench press program for 6, 7, 8 weeks, and then I do another assessment on your shoulder. You have lost mobility for sure, because it's going to go one way or the other. Either your shoulder is going to adapt to that lift, or you're going to increase the capacity of that shoulder. So for example, you know, and I know that if you want to get bigger and stronger, you have to stress the body.
Okay.
Right? So you go grab a 5 kg dumbbell. After a while, that 5 kg dumbbell is not enough stress. You need a 7, then a 9, then your body adapts.
Right.
It's called progressive overload. We all know that.
Yes.
Right? So it's a load capacity equation. This is the capacity that you have in your joint, and you keep loading it. If you don't do anything to increase the capacity, when that load hits the capacity level, it's going to snap. So think of mobility training as increasing the capacity as you're loading your body. So you're making the bucket bigger as you're filling it up.
Right.
Right? What we want to do is keep the same bucket, but keep putting stuff in it.
Oof. Wow.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So we're increasing the capacity of the joint as we're loading the joint. So we're staying ahead of the curve, keeping that buffer. And this is how we mitigate injury. It's not, I never say we prevent injury.
Okay.
I say we mitigate it, meaning that we can keep it to a minimum because we have that buffer. And also, we train the joints with enough stress to where if it does get injured, it's going to heal way faster. Way faster. Now, tying all that back into your students who have had surgeries and things like that is simple. We have to get out of this muscle-centric mentality of what strength and being strong in training is. Because ultimately, your body is your frame. It's not your muscles.
Right.
Your muscles are attached to your joints, not the other way
Okay.
around. No one ever comes to me with a bicep issue. They come to me with an elbow issue or a shoulder issue because this is where the bicep is attached.
Right. Right.
You understand what I mean? So
Yes.
it's just a simple thing. It's like we don't want to stretch.
Okay.
People don't like stretching. So to bulletproof your body, just to make a summary, get yourself on a mobility program. Focus on taking your joints through their full ranges of motion every day. The body that I'm looking at right now, 4 years from now, is completely different. All the cells in your body are going to die and regenerate. And in that transformation is what we call the genetic code. The old cells is telling the new cells what to do, right? If you haven't moved in that space in the last 4 years, you're not going to have access to it because the new you is not going to know how to move into that space.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So now, as long as we're moving through that space, using the full range of motion every day, as we get older, we can keep it. That's how we maintain what we have.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're going to lose it. That's simple. Now, alhamdulillah, our system can go and get some of that back, but that's taking the long route. Just maintain what you have. And the way you maintain what you have is moving your joints through your full range of motion every day. So you ask yourself, how are these athletes are so athletic, but yet they have such poor joint function? Athletes are great at what they do because they're the great compensate. They know how to compensate better than anybody.
Yes.
Athletes' bodies are the worst.
Yeah.
They got the worst stuff, man, going on with them because they've compensated their way into what they do.
That's
But
true.
when you break them down, man, it's like, dude, you don't even have a shoulder.
Right.
You don't even have a functioning hip.
Right.
Guy, world-class surfer, world-class basketball player. But when I say ask him to, I deal with I'll talk about this all the time. I deal with a lot of volleyball players on the island. They can't take their shoulder without using their spine because when they go up to spike the ball, they use their shoulder and their spine together. But when I say, okay, show me what your shoulder can do. It's like, man, that's all you got? So they compensate.
Okay.
And compensation leads to pain.
And weakness, yeah.
Yeah, weakness and pain, exactly.
You know, Akil, two things, and we'll wrap it up. I wanted to talk about. You just clarified something for me. I was talking to someone 2 days ago about this. I noticed, I was watching videos on Instagram of people over 30, like they were pranks, and they start running after people. Everyone over 35 fell during a wind sprint. Whereas a kid, we just run freely.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, why do people, we just lost, and I know there was a study done that like over the age of 30, like
90% people stop sprinting.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't sprint.
But everybody you see that's older that starts to run, they fall down.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And
Or they pull a hamstring.
yeah, even Deion Sanders,
Yeah.
who was one of the greatest
Yeah.
sprinters and runner in football, hit hamstring, ankle injury when he tried to like run. So it's like, man, what you're saying is clear, and you just gave explanation to what I was always wondering. Now, when you say they should do a mobility program, it's like in the 90s when people say you should just train Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
Most people don't know where to start, where to find it.
Yeah.
Please let them know how they can tap into it,
Right.
because that was asked on the Instagram
So
as well.
first of all, we had to understand what mobility is. Understanding the difference between mobility and flexibility, right? And we'll talk about that maybe in a different section because I want to go deeper into this. To be able to find it, contact me. Contact me. Or a FRC or FRS practitioner. It's not a lot of us compared to the population of the world.
Well, how do they contact you?
They can contact me through Instagram.
Okay.
They can contact me on Facebook, but I'm mostly on Instagram. My platform is coming up. I'm going to make a platform available, inshallah, that people can come in and see some of my work,
Right.
My recorded classes, some of my recorded workshops that I've done, and also how I can show them how to make their own personal mobility program. But from today, those who are listening and watching, the best thing to do is to learn the CARS routine, controlled articular rotations. Taking the time to take your joints through their full ranges of motion independently. Can you move your shoulder without moving your spine? Can you move your hip without moving your spine? That's where you have to start.
Okay.
You have to be able to neurologically separate the two. That's a practice in itself that you're going to be chasing perfection the rest of your life. If you're serious about this work, you got to be able to move your joints independently, control yourself first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there do you do private lessons, and is there any material they can read from you?
I do have a book out,
Okay.
mobility training for jiu-jitsu practitioners.
Okay.
I'll make that available in the comments. But
So
they
we'll
can
upload
contact
that
me
on
for
the-
they contact me online. I do online training. I do in-house training. People fly in from all over the world to train with me here or out on the island in Cape Verde where I'm at. If I'm in the country, in their country, I also do private lessons. People hire me when I travel. But yeah, that's the best way to contact me on that one. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up today. We'll stop it. We'll wrap it up, man. We keep going. Thank you so much for the time and the questions. Hopefully, I answered your question.
You enlightened us.
It's a lot more to talk about on this subject because this is what I do every day. But until then, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you got some benefit from this episode and the other episodes. Please go back and watch the previous episodes. Like, comment, and share. Thank you so much, Professor Ismail, for coming out. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care. Okay.